It's good.
Welcome back to the Brew Crew Podcast, everyone. This is episode 215 of the Brew Crew Podcast. The Advent calendar is complete. We are
Dunzo.
in the throes of normalcy. The mothership, as you call it.
The mothership.
And was that always the tab name of your Excel spreadsheet, mothership? Or was that new?
No, it was just sheet one.
Sheet one. Okay, that's the typical Excel organization, sheet 1 through sheet N.
Yeah.
I've added mine. I'll send them to you so that you don't have to look them up. I got to get spills. But yeah, the Advent calendar's done. And we got a lot to talk about, of course, with the year in review. This is the last episode of the year.
This is the last episode of the year. And as we coached each other up, we're like, hey, this is what we're going to bring. We put out some trivia questions. No one responded to the trivia questions. So that's okay. You have that.
That sucks. There was a lot of content, though. I don't blame people for maybe missing part of it. You should watch the Mothership episodes, though, people.
The Mothership.
Yeah, the mother. Is that what you said? Mothership.
Mothership. That's just what I happen to call. So we had a bunch of Advent calendar shorts. I think on order of 80 to 90 videos, short videos. Yeah. By the way, killing it with the shorts. I don't know your genius idea of doing that. Like those numbers.
It was an accident.
It was an accident?
I knew I wanted to do a short one that day because we had just gotten in.
Yeah.
Like at the beginning of the video prior to that, I was filming at the kitchen table. Katie was unpacking.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was like, I'm going to do a short video. And it was just like 58 seconds or something. It automatically does a short. You can't choose anything else.
Oh, really?
Yeah. If it's under a minute, it's automatically a short. So I was like, well, because I did it and then I deleted it because I was like, I don't want to do a short. I want to do a video.
It killed.
And then I couldn't do it. And it was, like hundreds of views.
Like our videos, like when we started doing shorts, like you had Punk Ass Cat or whatever like that, those numbers are up there where they're triple digit. But like you were triple digit in the first 6 hours that you posted. And then Stev came through and Stev is nearly triple digit like 6 hours after you did it.
It's
incredible.
Because it's only a minute, so people don't feel like they're wasting time. And it's in a feed. It's in a feed style. That's what's cool about the shorts is that was YouTube's response to TikTok. And it used to be that, well, with videos still, it's you don't get ranked on views. You get ranked on how long people watch each video. But on those shorts, it's straight up views. That's it. So as they scroll through, it shows us that's a view.
Interesting.
So it's cool. It counts. And people, they might watch it for a few seconds. They might watch it for 58 seconds. But it gets in people's feeds.
Do you think all of Phil's excitement could be contained under a minute?
We should try it. I think there's a science here that we need to master. Like, I think the first thing people should see is the beer.
Yep.
If they're scrolling through a feed, like there's a Mr. Beast mentality here that we could probably capitalize on the shorts.
Yeah.
But Phil probably can't be in that crew because I think he's too verbose.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's good. That's a good thing.
Interesting.
I rewatched a lot of videos. I don't know if you want to talk any more highlights or lowlights. We did that last week, but
I still don't believe. I refuse to live in a world where it's a happy accident. I think that your mad scientist, genius, data scientist vibes were like this. We're gonna try something new, and I was like, I was talking to Chuggalo Mikey and then the Wisconsin Mafia. I was like, this is genius. The guy's got 800 views.
Yeah.
And you were like, okay, bye.
Yeah. I was like, bye. Once I saw the time on the bottom of the camera, I was like, all right, I'm going to hit a minute. But yeah, no, I wish it was more planned out. It wasn't, though.
This is just, folks, Chuggalos, this is just JT being humble. This is just humble brag, and he's not even being braggadocious.
That's a perfect segue here, which is what they should call this the Segue Podcast because we're perfect at segues. But I've rewatched a lot of videos and I've kind of reflected on a lot, and I think that like my style of conversation is too humble, and people, especially Phil, I noticed he takes that as an opportunity to talk at me and try to teach me things when I'm opening the floor for discussion. Basically, I want, hey, here's what I know. What do you know? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you're right or wrong. And that has led to some confusion about whether or not I should be talked to in a way that I don't particularly agree with. And that's not just Phil. It happens in a lot of situations. And I think I have this character. So 2023, I'm going to be a little bit more firm in my opinions.
Firm.
People, they're wrong. Instead of asking their opinion, I'm just going to say, here's your opinion.
Now, like, wrong about their opinion because we're all entitled to our opinion, or are they like trying to like project on you? Like,
that's what it is. They're trying to project on me. Yeah, because I open it up in a way that's like, maybe I'm not the expert here. Give me some of your opinions or expertise. But in return, a few times, especially during the Advent calendar, it turned into here's why all the points you made were incorrect. And I'm like, whoa, let's not go this route. And so, I gave it back to Phil. There's a couple episodes that when I was gathering my scores for the spreadsheet, I was like, holy shit, this was an interesting conversation.
And that's why, like, I felt like, and I tried to bring it back when we did the smoked margarita. Yeah. And like, I elicited hot dog as like a completely, and then like we went on a hot dog tangent, and like everyone, and that's why we've been so good on the mothership about writing down scores or everything like that, because then to not make that impression. And I'm not, that's not to say that we're impressionable. I'm trying to stay true to the game, and the game is, scoring. And Kaysen brought up, like a lot of our scores, and I was going through and I was like, yeah, sure, there are a lot of threes. And then Mikey and I talked about this too. You get credit for making the beer, at least, besides Wild Ohio.
You get credit for making the beer. Yeah, that's a great point. I did not see that you made that point, or Mikey did?
I think he did, but we went on it. So like, we were talking about scoring a little bit. You get something for like, you got this out there. Yeah. Again, we've had drain pours and stuff like that. And when we get into our lowlights of the year, there's going to be stuff that maybe this would be better served, not made. But they're made by companies. They're made by companies that are successful. Uh-huh. It's not poison or whatever. But that's like, again, the scoring is to each their own. There's other people like Team Kaysen. They're all over the place. But that's the beauty of it. It's a make-believe. It's a make-believe system. These points don't matter.
Right. Yeah.
No one cares.
Right. No one cares. It's totally artificial, and that's the thing is.
But I still want to know.
If 215 episodes in, plus 80 plus per Advent calendar, we're talking about developing kind of a profile of ourselves. Yeah. If you're a listener or a viewer of this podcast, you understand who you align with more. So at first you're developing like an opinion about Matt or JT, but now you're sitting on a fence and you're like, what does JT think about this beer? Because that's probably what I'll think about this beer. Or what does Matt think? That's probably what I'll think. That's what's more important now, I think, 215 episodes in. But yeah, it's totally artificial. It's just, some beer expert might come in and just be like, wow, you guys are fucking idiots.
And they probably would. I would put, at least for myself, I'm an idiot. And I bet if you go from year to year, and it's nice, like, so I had that Duranke Guldenberg, which we had on December 15th. Mm-hmm. I had it once before a couple of years ago. The nice thing, and I was satisfied with, I gave it the exact same score.
Nice. Yeah.
That I did a couple of years ago. And that was the only beer that I had as a repeat or previously this year.
Yeah, I've evolved on some beers I've had multiple times where the score wasn't the same.
Yeah,
but that's good. I mean, that's pretty consistent. Yeah, now, I will say your scores across the board have been. There's a couple, but they tip towards the higher end. You like
for sure.
But I had some pretty low duds.
There were some duds. I still think I maybe I should put in last year's Advent calendar. Just busy today with life and packing and trying to get out of town. Sure. But I will go back and do last year's. I think there was a higher high but lower lows. I think this one just rode it. I don't know. If you stick a gun to my head, which one do I like better? God, last year was a lot of fun too. Yeah. This one was more fun executing, I would say.
Definitely. It
but
didn't suck.
I'm trying not to be recency biased, and it was a lot more diverse. It's a hell of a lot diverse.
I like the diversity in beer styles. Now, I think that we just keep adding to it. Now, I think we challenge them to find, 3 to 5 of the shittiest beers they can find. Just to throw in some, mixes, because there was a lot of 3s, 4s, 4 5s.
Yep.
And Phil did challenge. I don't know if he did this in a video or off camera. He challenged our scoring system with the 3 to 4 breweries that we hold in a higher regard. So we put 450 against itself. We put Tripping Animals against themselves.
Yep.
And 2 other ones I think we've talked about.
Toppling Goliath.
Toppling Goliath and Illuminated maybe.
Yep. Or Drecker.
That idea. Yeah. Drecker. Yeah. And he did not agree with it. He thinks we should not do that. So if every beer from 450 winds up being a 475 or a 5, so be it. That's his opinion. But I kind of like the scoring system we have.
There's been smoothie sours from 450 that have been complete duds that I would just and that's why I need to track them in Untapped, because I will buy them again if I don't because you look at it and again you put stuff like that on pedestal. Same with Toppling Goliath. Dorothy's Old World Common is a trash beer. That I put in Mystery Cooler of Death, but everything else I've had from them is at least solid, if not exceptional.
Yeah. Yeah, and there's a lot of standards that I think we need to have a standard scoring system as well. We need to separate that, because there's things like Truth, Boat Show, even less common ones like that Oscar one. What is that one?
Oscar Blues.
And there's I forget what the beer name is, but there's a couple that are just standards. And do you think? Well, we're not going to do Two Hearted. We're not going to do Truth, Boat Show, but we talk about them a lot. And maybe
I still think we should do it in a blind taste test.
We should definitely do that. That could be a good thing we could set up for when you get back.
Yeah.
I only have half of my list here. But anyway, so that's that. You want to talk about our year in review throughout the episode, or do you want to have that be its own thing?
I want to, yes, I'm thirsty. I need to crack a beer, so I'm going to go with, I have 2 beers of the year, and ironically, I didn't give them 5s. I don't think I gave either one of them 5s.
Wow.
But so my beer of the year isn't necessarily the best beer or what I lauded the most, but something that was craveable, crush all of that. So my first beer that I'm going to have is Spruce Explosion from 49th State. That's in Alaska. This is my last one. It's 6.8%. And again, it blew my mind because it's technically a hazy spruce tip IPA. So even we're talking about scoring systems, even I can contradict myself because I hate hazies. Hazy is I hate the word hazy. It's way overused. Come up with something else.
This is the biggest disparity on the Brew Crew podcast between the two of us. I love hazies, New England's. You love West Coasts.
Yep.
And I think that's great. That makes for good conversation.
And so this 4-pack was keistered by Chuggalo Aaron back from Alaska because he flew back on a gray tail Ida flag commercial.
Chuggalo Aaron of the previous year's advent calendar.
Chuggalo Aaron of Minnesota fame. It's just it's wonderful. I love spruce in my beer. And
literally spruce.
Literally spruce. It's spruce tip.
I wasn't expecting that. I thought maybe that was just the name of the beer.
I'm
going to just close out the Christmas season with War on Christmas. This beer I did pick up. This is a yearly release by Illuminated.
Yep.
And I wanted to close out the year. I picked this up when I was in Chicago. This is a big beer too. It's 11%. So I don't know if I guess I'm done working for the day.
Sorry, Stacey.
If you want it, this is a white peanut brittle stout.
Interesting. Because it's going to have those nuttier notes that I like in stouts, which Mikey, we actually had one with that pastry. Mikey said, and I bring it to you as a question as we ruminate on our beers and then we can go into our awards, is he's over coffee and stouts. So he likes not having coffee, and that's like the hallmark of a stout is like that coffee texture. So I think nut is an ample and a delightful replacement for coffee in stouts. That's why I bring it up, because it's a peanut brittle.
I think I would agree that I'm over coffee being put in stouts.
Yep.
I think some of the coffee flavor that happens in stouts is from the malt, though. And that the burning of the malts, and that is I don't think you can really do much about that unless you change the malt type.
Yeah.
Now, that doesn't give you. Now, if he's specifically talking about the infused stouts, then totally, I agree. I think it's overdone. You don't need it. You don't need it with the way that the stouts are made.
Yeah.
Especially some of these bigger ones. Like a chocolate stout, in almost every case, is going to wind up just being like a mocha stout. Got coffee in it. It just tastes like coffee.
Right.
But yeah, if you're talking infused, I agree. And I think the one that I did with Steb was an infused one. It was coconut and coffee. It was from a coffee shop.
Oh, really?
It was the one that had two kinds of coconut, toasted and roasted or raw or whatever. Remember that?
Yeah, gross.
I like that. You actually like that beer. You gave that a high score.
I'm just saying coconut.
Yeah, I disagree. I think coconut's great. I liked it in that beer. I don't understand the two coconut thing. But anyway.
I didn't know there was multiple kinds of coconut.
Well, in that case, it was a cooked and a raw.
Oh, gotcha. Different textures.
Same type. Yeah, textures. Yeah, but I didn't taste the textures. That's my fault for saying types. Anyway, I think I cut you off when you were talking about the spruce.
About the what? Spruce. Yeah, so it's just a different, like, it's pine, so it's a coniferous type of tree. So it's not pine, like pine can be kind of piney and too much. Spruce is a lot more subtle, that builds to a pleasant, and again, you don't have it all the time. It's not very common. So again, the absence of the taste memory just makes it more pleasant, because I think my last one that I had of this was 2 months ago. So, and again, just, I remember going to the brewery and they said that they were out for the season. So like they had sold, like we drained what they had left at the brewery when we were working up there. And so I don't know where he found the 4-pack, but they said at the brewery, they're like, you can't get this anymore. So I don't know where he found it, but eternally grateful for him for bringing this back and finding it for me. And it was just, I gave it a 4.75. And again, I'm going through my year in review. Thanks Untapped for doing that, because again, the stats are there and I have plenty of 5s, but I look back on this one very fondly.
Yeah. And a part of it might, and this plays into mine as well. Part of it might be the experience, the memory, the way you acquired the beer.
Yeah.
etc. It's not just sometimes it's not just about the flavor. It's about the experience. And that's true. That holds true with mine as well, which I'll get to once you've completed yours.
So that was my first beer of the year, and I want to go with questions. So I wrote down last week, because I was going to challenge people to the trivia questions, is how many beers did I check in this year? And it's gone up. So now I'm not going to, I said as of last week, but your year in beer is actually a living document for Untapped that you can check up until the last day of the year. So JT, I'll just ask you, since no one else asked, how many beers did I check in this year as of right now today?
As of right now today, I think you checked in 580.
Wow, geez. I only did 359 this year, but it's up 29 from last year.
And my original guess was going to be 410, but I went higher because, anyway, I thought.
Mad respect. So that was my check-in.
I have mad respect for that. I think constantly I need to do this. I need to get back into to doing Untapped, and I have the spreadsheet you sent me about 6 months ago, and I have been meaning to just go through and add in all those. But I remember doing this prior. I did this one other time, and it like spammed you with like
because
of tags and stuff.
I follow you. I follow a couple people because I just want to know what's going on in your beer adventure. And so like this year was 359, last year was 330, 2020 was 282. So it's going up, but it helped that when I was going through and making the spreadsheet and all this data points, like that Stev and Mikey used Untapped pretty, Stev failed like the last couple of days, not failed, that's strong. And then Kaysen sent me everything in Facebook. So I was just able to go down our Facebook chat. So that's why it was nice to get all the scores, because it's really truly a nice interface. This is just a love cycle for them.
It really is. I'm going to make it a point in 2023 to do more. And the other thing that I remember when I did this before, when I did like a month's worth of beer in one shot, I kept getting all these badges that were like, you're an alcoholic,
Yeah.
You drank way too many beers today. Maybe call a cab. And I was like, this is not good.
The only... Yeah, they know that happens, but then the only person that I know that cares about the badges or whatever is mine and Mikey's friend Chuggalos Seth. Again, he's at 8,000 beers,
right?
But he knows, like, he targets badges.
Oh,
like he knows what it's achievement hunting, like for Xbox or trophy hunting.
Excellent. Yep. Yeah, it's perfect. They do it with a lot of companies do that at work now, which is kind of fucked up, but. Yeah, there's only a couple badges that I think matter, and it's the milestone ones where you've reached a certain limit of beers, or not limit.
Sorry, Stacey. I agree wholeheartedly. So the second,
getting the fucking whatever California beer style badge doesn't matter. Right.
The second question I had, and JT, you can ruminate on this one. Check-ins by day. Which is the most which day did I do the most check-ins on?
For you, it's difficult. And I think I've talked about this in some of my solo episodes, is that you carry a unique style of life, not lifestyle. I think you fit a lifestyle that fits many people. But you have a unique style of life, which is schedules.
Yeah.
I think that your most frequent check-in is not going to be a Friday or a Saturday. In fact, I think your most frequent check-in is going to be a Monday.
Interesting. Let's bring this up.
Let's bring it up.
Look at that.
Wow. And that's close. That's close. Dang.
So I would say, and this is how much me. Because, again, my average rating, the reason why I bring it up and leave it right there is because I'm a easy grader, if you will. 3.89 for the year is fairly high.
Yeah.
But Monday we can attribute to, that's the mothership. That's the podcast day. Tuesday, I'm living in regret of drinking on Monday. And then, but Friday and Saturday. So Saturday just crept up because it was Friday up until this weekend. So that was Christmas Eve. And I don't think I checked into a 120 but I did have a 120 on Saturday.
I saw some conversation.
So then maybe I did, because the other people were drinking very substantial beers on Saturday, and I was like, well, I got to join them. So anyways, but you, again, without just knowing me as your podcast partner, you nailed it.
Yeah, and I wasn't even thinking about podcasts, which kind of makes me feel stupid. I was more thinking about the trips you take typically happen you go to the, like, you try to maximize your family time. So you'll leave Sunday night or whatever, which means that your first interaction with a lot of your peers in other places is Monday.
Yep.
But yeah, I guess the podcast makes more sense.
No, but I mean, you were right there. I'm going to give you credit. You're being too hard on yourself.
Thanks.
The last question I have, JT, and I want to get to the peanut butter because I'm so freaking curious. How many different? This is the challenging one. Now I will offer you, if you hit this dead nuts on, JT.
I have
dead nuts.
Not based on anything.
Okay. Do you know what the question is going to be?
Yes.
It's going to be beer styles, right?
Yeah.
Okay. If you get this dead nuts on.
Damn.
You have my word. I will buy your advent calendar next year.
Wow. There's no way I'm going to get it dead on. My guess is 31.
Beer styles.
Beer styles.
Okay, here we go. Here we go, folks.
Oh man, that's really good. That's really good.
But okay, so here's the thing. Here's another conversation. So 88, and then it just all the missed opportunities, all like the okay. Here's the thing I posed to you. When I'm making the spreadsheet, I have the white word file that I sent out, and those were the beer styles that Sarah told us from the Barrel House.
Mm-hmm.
Those beer styles don't correspond one to one to Untapped.
Correct. Yeah.
And they miss. So there's 800 different IPAs. Not eight, but I'm exaggerating a little bit. But like, where is the discerningness? Because is Untapped more, like, because Sarah is extremely reputable. So like, I obviously, there's IPAs and stuff like that, but like the sour versus the goes, because that Sonder smoked margarita was listed both as a sour and a goes. But there's, as we know, there's differences between those two types of styles.
Yeah. I would say, when I was doing research for my best and worst, there was a few times that I'd gone to breweries and I couldn't remember which beers I had by name.
Okay.
But I knew that I'd had something great. So like you could sort by when the beer was created in Untapped. That way I could go back. I knew that I had a beer like at Branch and Bone. I knew I had a beer that was brewed and tapped like that week that I had gotten to Branch and Bone. So I just went and looked for when I was at Branch and Bone, matched it up with the dates on Untapped. Okay, I found the beer. But that leaves the question, who put that beer in there? If the brewer put it in there, if the brewer is putting them in there, which it looks like for Branch and Bone, they're doing it.
And that's their intention.
That's the right style. But if I've put a few beers in Untapped, I've had a few beers that weren't in there. Particularly when I went to California and visited my brother-in-law, there's just beers that aren't in there. And I put them in. Well, I wouldn't trust what I put in. I'm just a guy. Like, I don't fucking know what I'm.
You're not just a guy.
I'm just a guy. So the beer styles in that case were like this was the place I went where you pour your own beer.
Yeah.
So they're just on some label that someone made with a label maker. I don't know. Is that trustworthy? Who knows? But the point is, I think just trust Untapped.
I'm just going to be this. This is the second JT humble alert. I'm just a guy. So this is number 2 humble alert for JT.
Number 2 humble alert. All right. I got to be stronger.
I'm just a guy.
All right. Here's the thing. I'm an expert. All right. I've had at least 500 beers on the podcast alone. Whatever. If I've put it in Untapped, the 3 beers I think I've entered in Untapped, those are correct. Trust that style. And all 3 of them I listed Ohio style as the style. That's the right style. All right. So it sounds like you've got your best of the year. I had to
my first best of the year. My second one's coming.
Best. Okay. I'll do my first. I bounced around between 2 beers, both from the same brewery. I really wanted this to be a local brewery, but I didn't want to bias my opinion. One of the best brewery visits that I had this year was after my wife and I dropped the kids off to my mom, Chuggalo mom. She took them to Wisconsin Dells. Gatorade and I went to 450 North.
Oh, jealous.
I've never been to 450 North. I don't know if they can all their beers, but there were beers there that we had never heard of, and they were fucking amazing. And Life Rings is a XL, and S'mores Cheesecake is a XXL. And if you are familiar with our podcast, you know every X they add is a thicker version of the beer. It's a more smoothie-like version. Life Rings XL is hands down one of the single best beers I've ever had. Period. It was amazing.
Life Rings.
It was on tap. It was juice because it was just one XL.
I want to Google it.
It was amazing. It was basically Lifesaver candy beer. And it was, if you've ever been an eager child with candy, instead of taking one Lifesaver at a time and eating it and tasting the flavor of that one Lifesaver, you put 5 of them of all different flavors in your mouth at once. That is what that beer tastes like. It's literally candy. It's fucking amazing. And I gave that beer a 5.0. 450 North, that's my beer of the year.
So
if they brewed it, capped it in June.
So that beer, because I try to keep up on your beers, that beer versus the peach tea.
Oof, versus peach tea.
Like if we're gonna do like a top 64 and do it like a March Madness of beer.
That's a great question. Actually, just sparked I think what amounts to a genius answer. I seek out and keister peach tea Berliner Weiss, which you shouldn't do because it's a Berliner Weiss and you shouldn't hold on to it. But
right.
I do. When I had Life Rings, I had it and it was available to can, and I said I've had it and I'm satisfied. So peach tea still wins. Peach tea Berliner Weiss from Branch and Bone, still the best beer I've ever had. I love that beer.
It's awesome. And like you said before with me, and I'm saying that Life Rings, like being without kids, being at 450, like this place, a moment in time, right? But again, that beer would still be a 5 today. I'm not trying to, but it added
would be a 5 in the carriage house, but the experience did increase. I mean, my wife, we had adult, conversations, adult to adult. We didn't have adult conversations about porn or anything, but we were just like two adults hanging out. We weren't pressed against time. We had a whole week to go. We could have stayed overnight if we wanted to. And it's just the experience did help increase that.
I like for adult conversations. You went to porn. I was like adult conversations. So you guys were like property taxes or like home improvement.
That would be like adult. Yeah, that's what I was more talking about is like things that are boring to kids. But I thought when I said the word adult, that some minds would go straight to porn.
Dildos.
We're just talking about the newest. You think there's a dildo podcast? You think there's a podcast about each new dildo that comes out?
There's probably a passion party podcast, so maybe they just do like dildo episodes.
Yeah, well, there's Call Me Daddy. I think is women. It's like a podcast for women by women about sex. I've seen highlights on Instagram, and it's definitely like shit guys probably aren't interested in. But
wow,
I don't know that they talk about dildos because I never listened to it. Podcast, by the way. For every podcast we mention on this show, listen to the Brew Crew podcast one extra time.
So, exactly. So, GT, again, king of the segue. We just got done talking about 450 North, my second beer of the year.
Look at you.
450 North, and the cooler's empty. This is not. We didn't.
Going with dildo.
Segue
for the segue, at least.
Okay, for the segue.
Yeah.
By the way, if you ever have the opportunity, go to Dildo Brewing Company. It's in St. John's, Canada, and it's fantastic. I've been to Dildo Brewing Company. Yeah,
that's not just not improv here. That's a real place.
Dildo, Google it. I'll buy some time. But Dildo Brewing Company, I've been there. I swear I sent you a picture. So anyways, 450 North Hurricane. This is just an XL. So again, something I want to try in this year. People always say freeze these because you get more of the slushy aspect of it or more of that thickness because the can's not going to blow, or it shouldn't blow if you monitor it. So I'm not just saying keep 450, do it with your own discretion because there is a bit of booze in it. But I love, this was so moments in time, waking up on Saturday, having a glorious egg bake that I made the night before, and having either an energy drink, so be it a Red Bull or the Code Red Energy from Mountain Dew. It's just a moment in time. Yeah, Dildo Brewing Company.
That's amazing.
JT, I wouldn't lie to you about something so serious.
No, I know you're not. I just want to make sure that the listener knows.
So anyways, I love this. It's a hurricane. The ironic thing about the hurricane is it's passion fruit, lemon, grenadine, lime, and orange. Matt, there's something with orange in it, and you crave it. And there's other 450 beers that I rated higher than this. But again, that moment in time. I love, and I don't even particularly care for her.
I like that you have them too. I like that you have both of them.
So neither one of my beers of the year, these two, are fives, and I have a bunch of fives this year, and I remember them all. But none of these were those, but they were so good.
Yeah, that's excellent. I wanted to have a Branch and Bone beer to be my other one because I had a really fun time at Branch and Bone with Chuggalos Phil, and I've been there twice with Caterade this year. And I thought that this seasonal, the one I had on the last Mothership podcast was so excellent.
Yeah.
But I just didn't have another 5 by them. But the experience at Branch and Bone is always a 5. It's such a weird place because it's like super lit up, like lighting wise, not lit like everyone's high. It's lit. The lighting is very bright for a brewery, and it's very clean. It's almost like you walk into like a sanitation thing, and everyone should be wearing white jumpsuits, because it's like so white in there.
Don't tell jokes when because I'm just it's sanitarium,
It's just like such a different experience. Like, I would not bring kids to Branch and Bone, so I do make the argument that kids should be allowed at breweries, but I'm not there, not at that one. That's the type of brewery where it's like adults go, drink beer, talk about adult things like taxes, and then go home. I just think every experience I've had at Branch and Bone has been so pleasant. It's similar to Barrel House, where the people are just phenomenal. The beer selection is always excellent. You can sit outside, you can sit inside, and like there's just no bad experience. So I wanted a Branch and Bone, but my other top beer of the year is another 450 North, and I feel like that's super biased, but it's S'mores Cheesecake. And the reason why is because I didn't think I'd like this beer. In fact, I didn't even order this beer originally. Katie ordered this beer. It is the highlight of every like dessert beer that has a graham cracker profile is the graham cracker. And we always seek it, and we're like, do we taste it or do we not taste it? This beer in particular basically was graham cracker. It was a graham cracker beer with a hint of marshmallow. It was fucking awesome. Man, it was so good. So I gave that beer a 5. That was an XXL, so it was a little thicker. I'm not sure where the thickness came from because there was no fruit in this beer.
Interesting.
I think that in this case,
was it more savory? Savory? Is that why? No? Sweet still?
I think in this case, I don't know what the graham cracker was, if that was a flavor, some sort of syrup, or if they literally put graham cracker in there. But I think the thickness came from real marshmallows. Instead of having like some sort of liquid marshmallow extract or some melted version of marshmallows, I literally think they took finished marshmallows that have that like pillowy texture and just put them in the beer as a puree.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Gotcha.
So not just milk sugar, but actual marshmallow. I don't know what it was, but those are my 2 beers of the year. 450 North is phenomenal. I think obviously that's going to be like my brewery of the year. I think we might have chosen that as the brewery of the year last year. I didn't pick a brewery of the year. I have a lot of biases, so I don't think it's fair to choose a brewery of the year. Because I think that, like for example, Warped Wing, I tried their smokehouse, and I thought that they did an excellent job. I've shit on Warped Wing pretty much since this podcast started. But that smokehouse is, in my opinion, undeniably one of the best food places in the Dayton area. It's awesome. So I don't want to pick a brewery of the year or a worst brewery of the year, any of that stuff. So my biases are too strong.
I will go where JT refuses to go because JT's the nice guy. Let me call in the asshole.
Call the asshole. What does the asshole say? The Ric Flair move say.
Call in, oldest oldest ride in the park, longest line. Woo! I love that line. Okay, so we're gonna go through my 5s just real quick because again, these conversations, because places and time and everything that was good. So, but I'm going to go. So my top beer was Abraxas JT, because Untapped says it's that. We're going to do Abraxas on the podcast when I get back in place. It's sitting in the cellar right now. Mark this down. Write this down. I know you take copious notes.
Yeah, I'll write this down right now.
Abraxas will be the first beer back on the podcast from me. So these other beers, look at Matt's fives. What does he give fives? Drecker cheesecake, 450 North cheesecake.
Yeah.
Slushy XL jungle juice. Look at that. That Fruth might be there for the new brewer of the year. Raw came in strong. That out of order. Remember those cans with like the horror scenes on them? Yeah. Raw should be up there.
If we would have discovered them in January, they would have been the
for coming out of nowhere. And they're small. And look up Raw. Check out. Did we do a Raw on the mothership? We didn't.
Yes. Yeah. You shared. I believe it was the. It wasn't the.
Yeah, I did. Let's play a game. Yeah, 21 November.
Oh, it was the saw one. Okay.
Yeah. Again, and then that strawberry shortcake Fandango. By the way, of what you're looking at the screen, that beer is magic.
I have to second that. The strawberry shortcake Fandango. Not only did I love that beer, but I have every single person who says that they don't like fruit beers or sours. That's the beer I bring them. It is available. That's the thing is like these 450 ones you have on here. They come and go. You can't get them again.
Right.
That Fandango one is, and it is so fucking good. I have to second that. That beer is phenomenal.
It is the most beer, and maybe that should be the mark of a beer of the year. I know the Wisconsin Mafia, I've heard of two of the guys specifically. One guy doesn't even like sours or fruited beer anymore. Everyone lauded that beer. That strawberry shortcake. So and the one time I had it, it was on Nitro. Oh my!
Oh wow!
Just the voluptuousness of that beer.
Yeah, that sounds great. Damn.
God, but all of those. So if you can say I'm a gimmick beer guy. Besides that Abraxas was and that's why I want to impart that upon JT, because if you want to go like beer without gimmicks or whatever, that Abraxas is fantastic. Perennial. I sought out that beer, and I was lucky enough to track down 2 bottles of it. So the one is going to be for Matt's return for an in-place podcast when we do it, and that was planned. Now, the lowest beers, JT won't go there. Again,
I'll go there. I have the lowest ones.
Okay, so you go first because they're coming up on mine. Go with your lowest. Okay. Because mine are all the theme.
In previous years, I've had much lower beers. I have 2 low ones. The first low one happened prior to the Advent calendar, and that was the illuminated, surprising out of the gate, Illuminated Brewworks Peanut Butter Pony. Fuck that beer. I did not like it. It was probably my lowest rated beer of the year. It got under a 2. It was at a 1.75. I'll just give them both right off the bat. Probably the lowest beer of the year was the Saunders Smoked Margarita. Fuck that beer. I hated that beer. I even gave that Leatherman beer, which I hated as well, a higher score than this. Smoked Margarita, I don't understand why people want the smoky flavor in their drinks. There was a conversation recently on my the dad's group in my town getting smoked cocktail contraption that puts a
smokes your drinks.
Yeah, I don't want that shit. I don't like that flavor. I don't think it adds anything to any of it. Smoked Margarita was a 1.0 for me. But prior to the Advent calendar, the Peanut Butter Pony was just not good.
All right. So my God, that Smoked Margarita. And again, the Sonder guys.
Yeah, Sonder puts out good stuff. It's no offense.
They put out good stuff. They're from Wisconsin. There was a Wisconsin Mafia collaboration, and it was hilarious on like the amount of shit that happened to that beer. Okay. So I'm going to go with my share screen. This comes with a lot of, so these trick or treat beers, they were gimmicked to be terrible beers. That, again, I give you a lot of credit for taking it to a can. These, okay, so it was in a 6-pack. 2 of them were tricks. 1 of them was a treat, or the other 4 were treats. I have 3. They were abhorrent. That Frogman, the Mothman poured like dirt water, like black, like a mop bucket.
Eesh.
That Frogman, I had 1 drink. I tried all of these. All of these were drain pours. They're beers in the sense that Urban Artifact is one of mine and JT's favorite brewers in the area.
Yes.
Our experience that we had there on the last Bobo was fantastic. Back when, and we told this story recently on this podcast, that spending $22 to $24 for a bottle, and we were like, okay, let's sip this. And now, I'm not saying we're in a better place or whatever. We just realized that good product costs money. All 3 of those abhorrent. Go follow me on Digital Bay there. The reviews are on there. Gross, disgusting. And my daughter picked that Frogman for me, like out of the 6. I was like, hey, because all the cans were separate. Oh, and I know they're supposed to be tricks. I get it. I'm still gonna score you. I'd rather have a Wild Ohio. I really would.
What would you think if we bought 20 beers next year for the Advent calendar, and then purchase, just you and I go in and go halves on buying a bunch of those and having 4 of them be those? Do you think the reviews would be worth it? Just like people trying to find the flavor? Or is that just leave that for Halloween and let's do Christmas as Christmas?
God, I love it for content.
Yeah.
Like, are we going to end up mailing people? I still think, God, JT, this is how you know it's a good hypothetical, because I'm dwelling on like the amount of, and like post, because Kaysen brought this up, and it wasn't until late on. So there was 9 of us this year. So we did the Mafia, but if we would have got Useful and Stev, we could have done the Brady Bunch.
Oh yeah, that would have been cool.
And she had this entire plan. We're down up against it with the holidays and traveling and stuff like that. But she's like, let's do a Brady Bunch episode. And then you would have to figure out like who's recording or whatever. It would have been magic. It would have been hell for pre-production, because let's be honest, we don't put a lot of money into the technology in this, people, but we care about the content.
More to come on that.
Yeah, that will come. But I thought that was hilarious. And then her mom is upset that she wasn't involved.
Well, that's good.
Kate's mom is going to join. My goal again next year when we build it, to get more people in the building, to obviously give Sarah and the fine people at Barrel House a heads up so they know we're coming. It's hilarious because I identified by their scores which one their pickle beer was. They didn't miss out anything with that stupid Pilsner. Go back to that date. I'm not even gonna outshout them, but God, there's just those the taste memory. I would buy up those boxes and just not for our calendar, JT, but everyone else's calendar. We'd be like, oh, what's a trick or treat like? Or like if we could get them to do it as a shorty and mislabel it.
Oh, that would be really good.
Yeah.
We have to make if we put those in, we have to make a rule though that like everyone has to try to find the flavors in the beer, like actually describe them. They can't just go like crack, drink, this sucks, and I'm moving on. You know?
The one flavor was star anise, like with black licorice or whatever, which is great in Orient, or like Hmong or Thai food. Like, oh
yeah.
And I love black jelly beans. They're the best jelly bean, but
oh no, I don't like the black jelly bean.
It was so. Again, there are the dog days of the Advent calendar for sure.
There are and when they're all 3s and 4s, it's like a 3.
Yeah,
3, 5, it's hard to not be the dog days.
So, Advent calendar.
Second beer, right? Your second review beer.
Which
you've reviewed already.
Yeah, already did.
All right,
What do you think of that first one? You still owe me a review.
So I don't have my fives. So I think Illuminated is
what's the name of it for the
War on
spreadsheet?
Christmas if you want it.
Okay.
So you have to want the war. The white peanut brittle stout, War on Xmas, and all of these beers for the next. I'm gonna say.
You said 11.3.
Yeah, 11.0.
Okay.
For at least the next 4 that we're doing virtual, which I have a list of the ones we're doing virtual. I have those beers for you, so you can try them. So it's worth adding to the spreadsheet because you'll also try them, hopefully. I give that beer. This beer is actually good. It does taste like peanut brittle. It's a little too sweet to be an exceptional stout. I think that it has there's a saltiness to it.
Yeah.
That I guess comes from the salted peanuts. That the flavor is a peanut brittle flavor. It's really good. It has that nutty flavor like you mentioned when I first opened it. It's not unapproachable from a stout perspective. Like a lot of stouts do have that burned coffee, burned malt flavor. This one does not. This is all about the peanut brittle. That's the star of the show. I just think that there's a sweetness that sits on your tongue a little too long. And it kind of gives you like a bitter, maybe not bitter, maybe just like I don't know. I guess it's like a bitter, brittle taste that's unappealing. It does say that there's a kiss of marshmallow in here. I could see that. I don't know where it is. I think that's probably what gives it the sweetness. But it's like mostly, like if you get, where would I have experienced this the most? I guess a toffee.
A toffee, really?
Like a toffee, but a toffee syrup, not like a candy. Something like maybe you put on ice cream. I don't really know where.
Like a caramel syrup almost, but not caramel. Yeah.
But like toffee.
Yeah.
It tastes like that. It does taste like that. I think if you added, I don't know how you do it, but maybe add a creaminess to this, and it would be. You could even rebrand it from peanut brittle stout to like a toffee ice cream.
Interesting.
It's approaching dessert. More than it is like candy snack, which is what I think peanut brittle is. It's more of a dessert thing. Yeah, I think this beer is a 4.0.
4.0.
Very well done. Just a little too sweet for me. In the wrong way.
Hey, for those of you that think that, look at these alcohols, the Athletic out of there. Look at those big numbers, people.
Damn.
We care. We're getting to the big stuff.
14% street side creme brulee. Damn, 14%. I don't even remember that beer. Probably because it was.
that was a you beer.
Oh.
That was you because Metal Monkey was the other one.
Oh yeah.
That day.
Yeah. Okay, I remember now. I went to Metal Monkey, by the way. I wanted to.
I know that. That's the segue.
Yeah, that's
the segue. Some brewery.
Shout out to Metal Monkey. They fantastic brewery. It has the. Boy, what a weird location that place was in. It was very much like Whiskey Hill and just the most unsuspecting.
Never heard of it.
Like warehouse type facility. You know how you go in like a warehouse district? I'm sure Wisconsin has a lot of these as well. You go into like a warehouse district and really the only parking is just like 2 lines of parking along each warehouse building. And you just kind of pull in, you park in, and you go into wherever it is you work.
Yeah.
In this case, it's a brewery, so it's more of it's not where you work, it's where you're going to drink. But very cool environment. They have a bunch of like old metal band shirts on the wall. So obviously the brewers like 80s, 90s metal bands.
Love it.
Pretty cool place. A lot of good beer. Went there. Played a game called, I can't remember what it is called exactly, but it's like a trivia game. It's called like I Didn't Know That or something, but everything is basically gross. Like, what's the leading cause of death for, I don't know. Well, let me see. What is the leading cause of like germ infections for
sepsis?
It over or something, and it's like, yeah, poo. It's all like a lot of poo related stuff. It's an interesting game. Yeah, Metal Monkey's cool, so I highly recommend them. Give them an out shout. But this beer I'm doing today, the second beer, is going to be a brewing project called Drank. It's Imperial Sour Ale with mandarin and marshmallow, 7.8%.
Love the brewing. I mean, obviously, I spent
I know you
a
guys
lot
know.
of
Mikey wears the shirt. Got the sign in the background. I'll get up there eventually. So you're leaving today, right? Because I have a Christmas gift for you. I just have not delivered it to you.
Tomorrow I'm finishing packing, and then like tomorrow morning, not to dox myself. Look I got the girls' go-kart pitched up.
Oh, look at that.
For the next couple of months, but yeah, early in the morning tomorrow.
All right. Well, I guess I'll. Do you wanna? Did you have any other? Did you give your worst beers yet?
Yeah, it was all those urban artifact cryptoids.
This beer's all right. I don't think it's that great, actually. The Mandarin is the star of the show, which is awesome because that usually doesn't happen. And I don't think it's fake. I think it's real. It tastes much like a fresh squeezed orange juice would taste.
Yeah.
You could put pulp in here and it would be even better. I'm glad it's not the rind that tends to kind of make the beer fall into a 3 to 4 range. The marshmallow flavoring, I think, doesn't really add a lot of flavor as much as it adds like a viscosity, to steal a word.
So again, people say that marshmallow can be used to both elicit flavor and then texture, correct?
It does, yeah, I guess.
And they can separate it.
It does add a texture. It doesn't add much flavor. Imperial Sour, I don't taste much sour. Just a juice. It just tastes like juice. It doesn't taste sour at all. It tastes like orange juice, really. This is like an orange juice beer. A thick orange juice beer. Let's call it that.
Yeah.
Also very good, but not great. 4.0 for that one as well.
So, man, both of these were wildly different too, which again speaks to, we like sours, we like IPAs, we're growing into stouts. It's fair to say that we're not going to, grow or branch off into English milds too soon, but
bitters and all that. Yeah.
But I mean, we're getting there. The best part, JT, is how many beers did I have during today's episode?
I saw 3.
Okay, so we never check into Busch Light, Miller Lite, that right. Unless Yeah. So I want to share with you. I just had to check them in. So sorry if I wasn't being attentive. Look at that across the board.
Monday's it's tied for first.
It's right there.
Right. Now I'm right.
See, I like making people right in the right way. Again, these are two empties.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Thanks for making me right.
I care.
Yeah, I mean, that's it. We've got our tops and bottoms.
Is this adult talk again?
It's adult talk. Let's talk taxes. Tax talk with Matt and JT.
Oh God. I'm always wrong because I always pay more, so I get more back. But again, giving the government a loan. Dumb.
Yeah, I know. I do that too, and everyone says not to do it. But how do you not do it? Fuck that. I don't want to owe. But we're always going to owe. I don't
want to owe what life is. I want you to show me, JT.
I'll show you.
I don't want to owe what life is. Thanks for laughing. It was a weak joke.
No, I knew where you didn't even have to give the sample. I knew it.
Am I going to be DCMA'd on that one?
I'm
going to
say
be close.
I'm going to say no, but it's going to be close.
It's going to be close.
I think maybe your tune might not be perfect enough.
It's a very nice way to put it.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, that's it. We gave our tops and bottoms. 2022 was quite the year. The next episode will be on January 2nd. So, I mean, that's really it. We've done a full another year. We're going into our 6th calendar year of podcasting.
6th calendar year. And it's important that you know who your top drinking buddy is. Look at that.
Look at that. Oh, man, that's amazing. 292 beers together. That's amazing. I'm honored.
Look at that bear. That's JT after 3 days of not shaving.
Basically, that's true. Yep. I wish I would have sent that. I said Merry Christmas to one person that a Marine, the only Marine I kept in touch with, and he thought it was funny. But I sent the picture of Austin Powers with the dick and balls, hair, chest. I said Merry Christmas. Sent that. I wish I would have had the bear. That would have been good.
Yeah.
So,
again,
2022 was great. I loved it.
2022. That was our year in review, and it couldn't have gone any better.
I don't think it could have. In 2023, it's gonna be kind of nuts. Let's be honest here. It's gonna be. I'm gonna carry a lot of the first couple months. There will be some virtual stuff that Matt is involved in, but I have some plans. I've been talking with Phil, who does know a lot about audio equipment, about making my sound better. Even though all of the videos that we did together where I sound like I'm shouting into the microphone was because he turned the gain all the way up, because he is an expert on audio. And I was like, yeah, it makes sense. And then I listened back and it sounds like shit. That was all Phil's fault. But I'm going to increase the audio quality. And I think that I'll try to reach out to some breweries, but I'll need support in that regard from people like Phil, who know more technical stuff about beer. Because I don't think it'd be fair to the brewers for me to go on my own.
Yeah, just like I said, as long as you have questions prepped ahead of time, and it's great, and just keep the composure. Go walk, crawl, run. Don't
go years deep and then start asking questions.
Yeah, go to Jason. Jason will.
Good. I think Jason would be a good one to go to. I want
to. Jason loves us.
A couple times, and if I have to do a couple, maybe I'll just pocket a couple episodes and then have them week by week. We'll see. But I'll have content when Matt is not available.
Big things coming in 2023.
Big things.
We promise you.
And then I've been trying to think about your return episode. I'm
Abraxas.
Well, that's for your return with what beer you're providing. I have some other ideas.
Yep, 2 levies.
We'll see.
2 levies or I quit. Riot.
2 levies or you quit? Damn, that's a lot of pressure. But yeah, big things to come in 2023. But before all the chaos, we still have another episode to do on January 2nd. Right?
January 2nd. Yep.
Yep. Perfect.
We'll figure it out. That I'll be in a different location.
Yep. And then after that, I'll take it away. So you guys, thanks for joining us in 2022. Thanks for joining the Advent Calendar and watching all of our videos. Maybe we'll bring some more shorts to you. Really, I don't have anything else.
Please consider joining the Advent Calendar in 2023. Again, we doubled this year. Think of all the fun, all the content. Boy, you could be a part of it.
People doing it. That'd be nuts.
Okay.
All right. That's it. Brew Crew Podcast 2022. We're done.